Yippee! It's the first day of school. That means that the kids are out of the house so I can record my August Paper Pumpkin kit video. Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I have to admit, when I first opened my August Bold Botanicals kit, I was a bit surprised by the strong dark and light color difference in the pattern papers. But that's why I create alternate projects and share them with all of you each month. Not every kit is going to call to you either. It's amazing though, when you pop online and you search, there are a ton of things that you can do differently with the contents of these kits to make things that you love. These are the items that came in the August 2016 Paper Pumpkin Kit. All of this for just $20. Printed papers, fun embellishments, special adhesives, some envelopes, this early espresso ink pad is a dark brown color. Look at this stamp set. Is that not just beautiful? That alone is worth the $20. The directions, which are also enclosed, share step-by-step photos, how to make the intended projects as shown here on the cover. And that includes 6 cards with envelopes in 2 different sizes, and then these fun gift card pockets. If you intend to make the projects as shown, all you need is your clear block for using with your stamps, which gets shipped with your first kit, and a scissors. I'm diving right in because I'm excited to share my August 2016 Bold Botanicals outside the box paper pumpkin kit ideas with all of you. Keep in mind though that most of the extra tools and products that I use in this video can be purchased directly through me. They are listed below in my video description and linked to my online store. Also keep in mind that you can click in the middle of my video and it will take you directly to my blog post where I have shared even more information about paper pumpkin kits of creativity and close-up photos of the projects that I'll be creating. Let's get started. My personal Paper Pumpkin subscribers got a gift in the mail from me recently. They received some foil acetate, they received the new in colors in the envelope paper, some black cardstock, and some of these metallic enamel shapes. Now they could have received them in silver or gold, but what's wonderful about this foil acetate is that it's double-sided. I think it's supposed to be gold, but if you flip it over, it totally looks silver. So it could go with either one of the gifts that I sent. So yes, I treat my subscribers well. I gift them occasionally, and then I also send them exclusive project ideas through email. So let's get started with an idea for my subscribers, or for anybody who wants to use these similar products. We're going to do a Project Life layout. Project Life is basically an easy version of scrapbooking. It's memory keeping where you put photos and decorative little papers into pockets, and then you have this beautiful scrapbook that looks like a traditional scrapbook, but it's super easy to make. So we're going to be making our own cards to go into these pockets. The designer paper we're not going to use, although it is the perfect size. It's 3x4 shape, so it does fit into a lot of the pockets that are on the Project Life page protectors, but we're going to set those aside. We're going to use the black cardstock, and I've already cut it so that you can see you're going to have a 4-inch wide space, a 4-inch wide space, and then this 1/2-inch space we'll just set aside. We've got then this piece cut to 3 inches by 4 inches, which leaves this piece 2.5 by 4. So let's start with this one here. That one's going to be very simple. Very, very simple. We're just going to put this piece here, this crumb cake paper that comes in the kit, and this piece on like that. And that's going to be that piece for the Project Life layout. And then, oh, and one more piece, sorry. We're going to use this little strip of Cajun Craze cardstock that also comes in the kit right behind it as an accent color. So let's set that aside. Now, another pocket piece is basically just going to be the acetate paper. So, and you could use the silver side or the gold depending on what kind of elements you received in your kit. And then the last piece is going to be using this paper here, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I had a hard time with. It's very dark and light. The contrast is very strong for me. So I was thinking Halloween. I also thought Thanksgiving, fall. It's just a very fall looking sky. And I saw a card on the Paper Pumpkin fan club page on Facebook where they used a tree cutout from one of our new Thinlit sets, and it was placed against this as this being the sky background. And so I'm going to use that idea to create the Project Life layout. One more piece that we're going to also do is we're going to trim out this floral area on a second card. The supplies that you'll need if you're going to recreate this Project Life layout will be basic black cardstock, foil acetate, and the metallic enamel shapes. All of those are available in my online store if you're not one of my subscribers and you didn't receive it. I've also got the paper snips or scissors, snail adhesive, the paper trimmer, and then the Project Life page protector. This one comes from grouping number 1, I believe, and it's layout number 5. And then I'm going to also use the Halloween Scenes edgelets, and normally I don't bring out these tools that involve the Big Shot die cutting machine, but this is something that you will love having if you get it. It's the Sizzix Big Shot. It's a high price point, but you can do so much. You can emboss, you can die cut. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful tool. So I am going to bring it out today. It does come with cutting mats and the platform that you'll need for die cutting these shapes. And then I'm also going to be using an accessory that you can get called the Big Shot die brush, and it helps to remove some of the detailed dies from the paper from the detailed dies. And I just store it in a little stamp container. Okay, let's start. When using the Big Shot, you'll want to make sure that you have your thin die adapter on the Big Shot platform. These two come together when you get your Big Shot, so that'll raise it up a little bit higher. Then you'll need a cutting mat, and this is my roughed up one because that's the one that gets cut. And then you'll need your paper that you're going to cut and your die. And I'm going to shift this piece off to the left so that it's the right edge is blunt up to the edge here. You'll see why in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece out. The last thing that you'll do is you'll put another cutting mat on top. You'll hold it nice and firm and crank it through. And you can see it's already cut off a lot of it. Looks like I can pull it off right away. Okay, so there we have part of the fence. Now we didn't cut the whole fence, and I'm going to use the brush to eliminate all those pieces there. Next time I'm going to run it through with the left edge flush with the edge of the paper. That way I'll get a nice long piece that will stretch as far as the tree, because this is actually smaller than the length of where the tree is going to go. And it's also smaller than 4 inches, and we need a 4-inch wide fence. We're almost to the end, but you'll notice that this pocket is actually 6 inches tall and we have a 5.5 inch tall piece. So the way that we can solve that is either cut or tear the backing in half. And this will cover it anyways, so if we have a gap back there, it's quite all right. So I'm just going to go ahead and tear it. Cutting's fine too. And we're going to leave that top piece over there for now. We're going to flip this over, put some snail on the back, or you can use glue dots from the kit. Anytime I'm using the snail, you could certainly use the glue dots from the kit, but I am a big fan of that snail adhesive. We're going to add some of this ribbon from the kit underneath for texture, and then we're going to add this whole piece on top of the basic black that we have for our base. We can trim that in just a minute. In fact, let's put this here so we kind of know where we are at. Okay. Right about there. And then this piece will go up a little higher. So now let's go ahead and add, oh, I already have adhesive back there. Let's go ahead and add this. And just kind of tuck it a little bit for measurement purposes, because sometimes the pockets on the Project Life pages are like maybe a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch larger than what their measurement's supposed to be. And the reason for that is because you have these seams in between. So this is a 3-inch space, a 3-inch tall space, and this is going to be slightly over because of that stitching. Okay, so now we have a piece that will fit in there just perfectly. Got to tuck the tree in. We're going to trim off this excess ribbon. And then we're going to add that flower that we cut out, that we fussy cut. I put a couple glue dots on the back side. Before we tuck that, we need to decide if we want to use the gold side or the silver side. And you could really, it will work for both. Let's use the gold. And there's our Project Life page layout, ready for photos to be added. It's now time to make a treat box. We're going to use the Pansy Punch, and that's just for embellishments. If you want to use something completely different, you can. We're going to use Fast Fuse adhesive, which is nice and strong, our paper snips, our Stampin' Trimmer, and then the extra cardstock that we'll need are Whisper White, Tangerine Tango, which is another coordinating color in the kit, and Early Espresso. After you've punched out 2 flowers, one that's Early Espresso and one that's Tangerine Tango, then you'll take your bone folder tool and you'll curl the petals for the orange flower upward. You could even use a pencil if you don't have a tool like this. But you want to curl those petals, and then you want to flip it over, add a little bit of Fast Fuse adhesive on the back, and we'll line up the flower. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the brown is going to become a shadow of the other one. It's just going to kind of help it to stand off the paper. We're going to put it against this paper here. And what are we going to do with this paper? Well, we're going to make a box, and this is going to be the outside of the box. So the first thing that you'll want to do is connect these two. Sorry, we're going to connect them so that they've got the outside on the outside of each, and you're lining up these half circles. And then what you'll do is you'll lay it flat once it's all lined up. You'll lift up this edge here, you'll pull off the backing for that tape, and then you'll push this down carefully, and you'll set that on top. You'll do the same thing to the other side, but this time if you want to, you could even go this way so it's not so hard to manipulate the edge. And now we have the outside of our box. You're going to snip off these ends because you do not need them. We probably could have done that beforehand. And then this piece is going to go right on top here. We could add that now. Let's grab a dimensional. And we'll decorate the rest later. Let's set that aside and grab our paper trimmer and our white cardstock. Now to make the inside part of the box, we need to start out with a 9.5 by 8.25 inch sheet of cardstock. So this is already 8.5. We're going to trim off a 1/4 inch. And then 11 inches we have to trim off at 9.5 here. so we've got 1.5 inches to throw away or do with what you want. All right, now we have the long edge kind of against here, so we're gonna go ahead and do some scoring. We're gonna score at 3/4 of an inch, and I find it's difficult to start at 3/4 of an inch when you've got this handle over the top of it. So you can take that edge and you can start it on this side instead, because you do have this inch mark here, and there's a couple measuring spots here. So we're gonna measure that 3/4 of an inch there, and then we can flip it around and we can continue on. So we measured our 3/4 of an inch. We're gonna move it into the up to the 3-inch mark. And then we're gonna move it to the 6.5 inch mark. And then to the 8 3/4 inch mark. Turn it, and we're going to now have the short edge against here, and we're going to do the same thing. So we'll do a 3/4 inch score line using the other side, and then we'll flip that around. We'll go to the 3-inch mark, but now we're going to go a little bit skinnier. We're going to go to the 5 1/4 inch mark, and then we'll go to 7.5 inches. And now we're going to cut. We're going to cut out these corners here. We're going to cut out the sections right next to it too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not sure if the lighting's that great here. Hang on a minute. Let me peek. This might be a little bit better. What I did is I just emphasized the crease marks by bending everywhere. Okay, we're going to cut in. We're going to cut this section out. And of course we're cutting off that corner. All the corners are going to come off. Like that. We'll do that all the way around. And you really want to be cutting beyond that score line. So here's the score line, cut beyond it, go in deeper. Okay. Next, what I want to do is I want to cut up. Okay, here's the short edge here. So I'm going to cut up here, and I'm going to cut down there. This is the base of our box. We're going to be folding these flaps inward. We may even have to trim them a bit. Oh, they look like they're going to be okay. And then these pieces are going to come up like this, and this is going to fold over the top, and this is going to fold in here. Okay? So, one thing to note though, when you are bringing these two panels in and bringing this over the top, is you might have a tight space there. So it will help to trim in even more on this section, right up here, and on this section here. And you kind of have to do that after the fact. You kind of have to check to see if you cut in enough the first time or not. Down, and you're going to use fast fuse here, 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 and here. Okay, now if we bring this back over, we can see that we've got the inside of our box. How cute is that? We've got these little spots on the side here to help us pull it back outward. I found that the Dove Sea Salt Caramel Chocolates match this color really well. So they're Bermuda Bay, and you can fill that box with a bunch of those chocolates. There we go. Now let's decorate the top of the box. We've got the flowers on there. So let's go ahead and get some glue dots from our kit and add some leaves underneath. And I attached one in the middle as well, and so I have my completed candy box ready to give as a gift. I did another version, just a slightly different version, just in case you use up all these little wooden elements in your kit and you want to still make another box. Well, then you can take and do the same thing. Layer your two flowers, but this time slather one of your back flower here, your brown flower, with a bunch of that fast fuse or snail adhesive. Loop a bunch of this twine that you get in the kit behind, so you have a bunch of loops. Then put a bunch of dimensionals back there, and when you flip it over, you can add it to the top of your box, which has already been decorated with pearls. And these pearls you can get in my online store too. They cost $5 for a sheet of a bunch of them. And so there's a couple different versions of that same box. I have 2 more ideas to share with you. And for this next one, you'll need pearls, you'll need some extra early espresso cardstock, and the Blossom Builder punch or something similar. We'll first take the Blossom Builder punch and we're going to punch out some of these larger petals. Now, instead of punching this out several times, it might help to actually take and cut a strip and then insert that strip into your punch so that you're not wasting a lot of cardstock. And this way I can get several of my petals punched out with way less cardstock. Now you're going to take this circle piece from the kit and you're going to flip it over and you're going to stamp it with this design and one of these words that fit in it so that you have this look here. You'll set that aside. We're going to open up one of these envelopes. This is the larger envelope because we want to have some vanilla cardstock. And the only way to get that if we don't have extra at home is to use one of the envelopes up. Now I'm going to trim in half one of these card bases. I'll do that with my paper trimmer to get a size like this, which is 3.5 by 5 inches. That will fit inside this piece just nicely like that, but I think it's too, you can't see it very well, so that's why we're adding this extra layer of vanilla from the larger envelope. We want that to be slightly larger, so we're going to trim that to 5 1/8 by 3 5/8 inches. This will go in here and it will have these pieces behind it to make it stand out more. We're going to use some twine across the middle and then we're going to use those pearls as fun little accents. And here's our finished card. Just another take on that kit. Let's do the last project. This project that I'm going to share next is only in my head. I have not created it ahead of time. So hopefully it'll work. But I am not using anything extra. I'm only using what comes in the kit for this. And I think it's going to be a pretty good card. So I've been seeing these recessed panel cards on the internet, on Pinterest, all over the place, and I thought it'd be fun to try it with this. And we have a square piece here that we're just going to tear. We're going to tear it, oh, I don't know, let's tear it like right here. And we're going to tear straight, but I don't want it to be too rough looking. We're trying to tear straight. Look at that, we're doing it. And we're getting kind of a white layer this way. Do you see that? Okay, next we want to have a white layer showing up on this side. So we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the same thing. Next I'm going to take and put some twine around and around and around and around and around. This next piece I'm going to stamp, and let's see, I have not used the hello yet in my stamps, so I think I'll do that one. And then we're going to tear. And I think this time, so that I don't risk having some of that lighter orange show through, I'm going to tear the opposite side. And then, let's see, let's use this stamp, which I also have not used very much. I think I used it on my scrapbook pages from the first video. We'll see if this works here. So what I may have to do is kind of give this a little bit of a mark here so I know how far I'm going in. Just doing a few little pencil marks, very faint. Now let's flip it over and add some dimensionals over the back of this. And hey, for that matter, you might want to use up edges of your dimensionals. These are wonderful. You should consider using these if you have not ever. Don't throw them away, especially in a project like this. It gives a lot of stability throughout the whole section there. Put another one here, and this way we can move our ribbon if we have to, or our twine if we need to. Let's do another one on this side. Another skinny one here. Gosh, I don't even think I've used a scissors. Oh, I used a scissors to cut the ribbon. You could use your teeth. Then you really would not need any extra supplies. I'm teasing. Okay, let's get this little one here. I may be going a little overboard with the dimensionals, but I don't care right now. Okay, next let's add this guy. I think we need to put that up on 2 layers of dimensionals. There, and if we feel so inclined, we could add rhinestones or some of the other embellishments from the kit. Maybe I don't know, a branch or something. But I thought that was pretty clever to just put together a raised panel card so easily, and it looked like there's an extra layer of cardstock here. It's simple, but it works. And not that you want to use up all of these pretty flowers on one card, but it was an afterthought and I added them and I like them. So there, now it's finished. It builds creativity to think outside the box. Be sure to get signed up so that you can get paper pumpkin kits. $20 a month, which includes shipping, gets you fun surprise kits of creativity. You can do them alone or you can share them. Right now, Stampin' Up! Is having a special for new subscribers. Buy one, get one free. It's our BOGO sale, and it runs through October 10th. Click on the link below my video for more details. There's really no excuse not to get signed up. If you start up a subscription and then you decide it's not for you, you can cancel after that second free kit. There's no commitment. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can catch more paper pumpkin videos that I've shared using past kits and more that I'll share with future kits. Also, be sure to visit my blog at stampyourartout.com so that you can view close-up photos of these projects and see photos of other paper pumpkin kit ideas. If you're watching my video on YouTube, look for links in the description below. And to see some extra exclusive project ideas, get your paper pumpkin subscription started with me as your demonstrator. Thank you all for watching. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.